Forget everything you thought you knew about studying. The truth is, most conventional methods are wildly inefficient. This video exposes the common academic pitfalls and then hands you the master key. Neuroscience-backed techniques that literally rewire your brain for peak performance. Stop wishing for better grades and start making them a reality. Have you ever spent hours rereading your textbook? You highlight every other sentence. You stare at your notes until your eyes glaze over. You feel like you're working hard. But when the test comes, your mind goes blank. It's a frustratingly common story. This is because we've been taught to study in a way that our brains secretly hate. The illusion of competence is a tricky thing. When we passively review material, the information feels familiar. We mistake this familiarity for true understanding. Our brains trick us into thinking we know something just because we recognize it. This is a trap, a learning dead end that consumes time and delivers poor results. The truth is, your brain isn't a sponge. It doesn't just soak up information passively, it's more like a muscle. It needs to be actively worked to grow stronger. Think about it. You wouldn't expect to get stronger by just watching someone else lift weights. You have to lift them yourself. The same principle applies to learning. Mindless rereading, highlighting, are the mental equivalent of watching a fitness video from the couch. It feels productive, but it doesn't build any real intellectual muscle. Your brain craves engagement, struggle, connection. It wants to wrestle with ideas, not just glance at them. So what's the alternative? Let's talk about the single most powerful technique you can use, active recall. It's also called retrieval practice. The concept is incredibly simple. Instead of putting information into your brain by rereading, you practice pulling information out of it. This act of retrieving a memory is what strengthens it. Every time you struggle to remember a fact, a formula, a concept, you are cementing it more deeply into your neural architecture. It's like walking through a snowy field. The first time, you forge a faint path. Each subsequent time you walk that same path, it becomes clearer, deeper, easier to follow. Active recall does the same for your memories. So, how do you do it? It's easier than you think. After reading a chapter in a textbook, close the book. Now try to recall the main ideas, write them down, say them out loud. What were the key arguments? What were the important definitions? Another fantastic tool is using flashcards, but don't just flip them over passively. Look at the prompt. Force yourself to state the answer before you check. No peeking. The effort of retrieval is the exercise. You are telling your brain, this information is important. I need to be able to access it quickly. Another practical way to use active recall is to create your own mini quizzes as you study. After finishing a lecture, after finishing a study session, write down a few questions about the material you just covered. Set them aside for a little while, then come back. Try to answer them without looking at your notes. This simple habit transforms your study time from a passive review into an active self-testing session. You become both the student and the teacher. This process quickly reveals what you truly know versus what you only think you know. It shines a bright light on the gaps in your understanding, showing you exactly where you need to focus your efforts next. The key is to embrace the difficulty. It should feel a little hard. If recalling information is too easy, you're likely not challenging your brain enough. That feeling of mental strain is a sign that you are building strong, lasting memories. Compare this to the false comfort of rereading, where everything feels easy and familiar. Active recall is the heavy lifting of learning. It's more demanding in the moment, but the long-term results are exponentially better. Stop being a passive spectator of your own learning. Start actively pulling information from your mind, and you'll be amazed at how much more you remember. Now that you're using active recall, let's pair it with another powerhouse technique, spaced repetition. This is the when to active recall's how. Spaced repetition is the practice of reviewing information at increasing intervals over time. Instead of cramming all your studying into one marathon session, you space it out. You might review a concept a day after learning it, 3 days later, a week later, and so on. This might sound counterintuitive. Why wait when you could just hammer the information into your head all at once? The reason lies in a brain phenomenon called the forgetting curve. We naturally start to forget things almost immediately after learning them. This forgetting is actually a good thing. It signals to your brain that it needs to work a little harder to retrieve the information next time. When you review a topic just as you are about to forget it, you send a powerful signal to your brain. Hey, this is actually important. Don't throw it away. This process interrupts the forgetting curve and strengthens the neural connection. Each time you do this, the memory becomes more durable, and you can wait longer before the next review. It's far more efficient than cramming, which creates weak, short-term memories that vanish soon after the exam is over. Spaced repetition builds robust, long-term knowledge. Implementing spaced repetition is simple. You can create a manual system with flashcards, make a few boxes labeled daily, every 3 days, weekly, monthly. When you get a card right, you move it to the next box, increasing the interval until the next review. If you get it wrong, it moves back to the daily box. This ensures you spend more time on the things you struggle with, and less time on the things you already know well. For those who prefer a digital approach, apps like Anki or Quizlet have built-in spaced repetition algorithms that handle all the scheduling for you. What if I told you that one of the best ways to learn something is to try and teach it? This is the core idea behind the Feynman Technique, named after the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman. He was known for his incredible ability to explain complex topics in simple, intuitive terms. The technique is a simple, 4-step method for identifying gaps in your understanding and building a deep foundational knowledge of a subject. It forces you to move beyond simply memorizing definitions and toward true comprehension. It's a powerful acid test for your knowledge. The first step is to choose a concept you want to understand. Take a blank sheet of paper and write the name of the concept at the top. Now proceed to step 2. Pretend you are teaching this concept to a child. Write out an explanation of the topic as if you were explaining it to a 12-year-old. Use simple language, short sentences, your own words. Avoid jargon and complex terminology. This is the most crucial step. Using analogies, simple examples will quickly reveal where your explanation becomes shaky or confusing. Where do you stumble? Where do you have to fall back on the textbook's dense language? This leads directly to step 3. Identify your knowledge gaps. The moments you struggled in your explanation are gold. These are the areas where your understanding is incomplete. You've now pinpointed exactly what you don't know. This is far more effective than guessing where you need to study more. Go back to your source material, your textbook, lecture notes, or videos, and review the information until you can explain it in that simple language you were aiming for. You are actively patching the holes in your understanding. This focused review is incredibly efficient because you are targeting your specific weaknesses. Finally, step 4 is to review and simplify your explanation again. Read your simple explanation out loud. Does it sound convoluted? Is there anywhere you can make it even simpler or more intuitive? Try creating a powerful analogy. The goal is to distill the concept down to its absolute essence. If you can take a complex idea and explain it in a clear, concise, and simple way, you have truly mastered it. The Feynman Technique transforms you from a passive learner into an active teacher, forcing your brain to engage with material on a much deeper level and building a robust mental model that will stick with you for years. In our modern world, the ability to focus is, honestly, a superpower. Every notification, every ping, every new tab is like a battle for your attention. Effective learning is impossible without sustained focus. One of the best strategies to win this battle is the Pomodoro technique. It's deceptively simple. You break your work into short, timed intervals, traditionally 25 minutes, called Pomodoros. During each Pomodoro, give one task your absolute undivided attention. No multitasking, no checking your phone, no email, just pure focused work. When the timer goes off, you earn a short break. After a 25-minute session, take a 5-minute break. This is non-negotiable. During the break, do something completely different. Get up, stretch. Grab a glass of water. Look out the window. This lets your brain switch from focused mode to diffuse mode. Diffuse mode is crucial for learning. It's when your brain consolidates information and makes creative connections. After about 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. This cycle of intense focus and deliberate rest prevents burnout and keeps your mind fresh. Create a distraction-free study space. Your environment sends cues to your brain. If you study on your bed, your brain gets mixed signals, work or sleep. Designate a spot only for studying. Keep it clean and organized. Eliminate digital distractions. Put your phone in another room or turn it off. Use website blocking apps on your computer to block social media and news sites. Even tiny distractions, seconds, shatter your concentration and make deep focus hard to regain. Smart breaks are the final piece. Scrolling social media isn't a real break. It bombards your brain and leaves you drained. Our brains are not naturally good at remembering abstract lists of facts or numbers. However, they are extraordinarily good at remembering places and images. We can leverage this innate ability using a powerful mnemonic device called the memory palace, or the method of Loci. This technique has been used for thousands of years, dating back to ancient Greece. It involves visualizing a familiar place, your house, your daily walk to school, your favorite park, and placing the items you want to remember at specific locations along a mental route. When you need to recall the information, you simply take a mental walk through your palace and see the items you place there. Here's how to build your own. First, choose a location you know intimately. Let's use your home. Mentally plan a specific route, starting at the front door and moving through each room in a logical order. Front door, entryway table, living room couch, coffee table, kitchen counter, and so on. The key is to have a fixed, ordered sequence of locations. Walk this route in your mind several times until it's automatic. These locations are the hooks where you will hang the information you want to memorize. The more vivid and detailed your mental picture of the palace, the better the technique will work. Now let's say you need to memorize the first 5 US presidents: Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe. You need to create bizarre, vivid, and memorable images to represent each name and place them at your chosen locations. At your front door you might picture a giant washing machine filled with a ton of clothes. Washington. As you step inside, on your entryway table you see a single atom splitting in two with a loud bang. Adams. On your living room couch, a chef is frantically chopping vegetables for a TV show, and his name is Chef's son, Jefferson. On the coffee table you see a mad little doll, son, who is throwing a tantrum, Madison. Finally, on the kitchen counter you see Marilyn Monroe singing Happy Birthday, Monroe. The more absurd, humorous, or multi-sensory the image, the more it will stick in your memory. When you need to recall the list, you just take your mental walk. This technique works because it transforms boring, abstract data into rich visual and spatial memories, which is a language your brain understands perfectly. You can build multiple palaces for different subjects, creating a vast mental library for any information you need to master. We often think of learning as a purely mental activity, but your brain is a physical organ and it has very real physical needs. It's an energy hog, consuming about 20% of your body's calories despite being only 2% of your body weight. What you eat directly impacts your brain's function, including your ability to focus, learn, and remember. Feeding your brain the right fuel is not just about long-term health. It's a short-term strategy for better academic performance. Processed foods high in sugar and unhealthy fats can lead to brain fog, fatigue, and mood swings, making it incredibly difficult to concentrate during a study session. Think of it as putting low-grade fuel in a high-performance engine. Instead, focus on brain foods that support cognitive function. Healthy fats are crucial. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, so it needs good fats to build and maintain brain cells. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds have been shown to improve memory and mood. Antioxidant-rich foods like blueberries, often called brainberries, spinach, and broccoli, help protect your brain from oxidative stress, which can damage brain cells. Complex carbohydrates found in whole grains, beans, and vegetables provide a slow, steady release of glucose, which is your brain's primary energy source. This prevents the energy spikes and crashes you get from sugary snacks. Hydration is another critical yet often overlooked component of brain power. Even mild dehydration can impair your attention, memory, and other cognitive skills. Your brain needs water to function at its best. When you're dehydrated, you might feel tired, fuzzy, or have trouble focusing. Don't wait until you feel thirsty. By then, you're already dehydrated. Keep a water bottle with you throughout the day and sip it steadily. Making water your default drink is one of the simplest and most effective things you can do for your brain. What about caffeine? It can be a powerful tool for focus, but it must be used wisely. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine, a chemical in the brain that makes you feel sleepy. This can temporarily boost alertness and concentration. However, timing is everything. Consuming caffeine too late in the day can disrupt your sleep, which is essential for memory consolidation. A good rule of thumb is to avoid caffeine for at least 8 to 10 hours before bedtime. Consider a caffeine nap. Drink a cup of coffee and then immediately take a 20-minute nap. The caffeine will start to kick in just as you're waking up, giving you a powerful dual boost of rest and alertness. In our productivity-obsessed culture, sleep is often seen as a luxury or a necessary evil. For students, all-nighters are sometimes worn as a badge of honor. This is a profound mistake. Sleep is not a passive state of shutdown. It is an intensely active and essential period for your brain. During sleep, your brain works hard to consolidate memories, transferring information from the fragile, short-term storage of the hippocampus to the more permanent, long-term storage in the cortex. Pulling an all-nighter before an exam is one of the worst things you can do. You are denying your brain the very process it needs to store what you just spent all night learning. Think of your brain like a diligent librarian. During the day, as you learn new things, the librarian stacks books, memories, on a temporary cart. The library gets messy and cluttered. When you go to sleep, the librarian takes that cart and carefully files each book onto the proper shelves in the vast library of your long-term memory. Sleep also cleans the brain, washing away metabolic byproducts and toxins that accumulate during your waking hours. Without adequate sleep, your brain remains cluttered and toxic, leading to poor focus, impaired judgment, and an inability to learn new things effectively. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night is the ultimate study hack. Strategic napping can also be a powerful tool. A short nap of about 20 to 25 minutes can significantly improve alertness, performance, and mood without leaving you feeling groggy. This is often called a power nap. It provides a quick reset for your brain, clearing out sleep-inducing adenosine, giving you a fresh burst of energy and focus for the afternoon. Longer naps of about 90 minutes allow you to complete a full sleep cycle, including deep, slow-wave sleep REM sleep that are critical for memory consolidation. If you have the time, a 90-minute nap can be incredibly effective for cementing what you've learned earlier in the day. The techniques we've discussed, active recall, spaced repetition, the Feynman Technique, are powerful tools, but tools are only as effective as the mindset using them. The most important trick, cultivating a growth mindset. The belief, pioneered by Carol Dweck, that intelligence isn't fixed. It can be developed with dedication and hard work. People with a fixed mindset think they're bad at math, or that they're not a science person. They see challenges as proof of limits and often give up. A growth mindset sees challenges as opportunities to grow. Struggle is not failure. It's the process of learning. When they get a problem wrong, they don't think, "I'm stupid." They think, "I haven't mastered this yet." That shift is transformative. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. It reframes effort from burden to the path to mastery. The brain's neuroplasticity shows growth mindset in action. Each struggle and new skill physically rewires your brain. Embracing this mindset means embracing curiosity. Learning isn't just grades, it's a genuine desire to understand. Ask questions, follow interests down rabbit holes, find what's fascinating even in boring topics. Why does this historical event matter? What's the real-world application of this formula? Curiosity is the engine of learning. It gives intrinsic motivation, so studying feels like an adventure. When curious, you naturally use active recall, the Feynman Technique, because you want to understand, not just memorize. Education's goal, not just pass a class, it's to learn how to learn. These strategies and mindset are tools for life. In a fast-changing world, mastering new skills quickly beats memorizing facts. Treat your academic journey as a training ground. Use these techniques to become more effective, curious, resilient. A lifelong learner. That's the real secret to success, in school and beyond. Before you dive into your next learning adventure, if you found value in these tips, hit the like button to let us know. Share this video with friends who want to level up their study game. Subscribe for more science-backed strategies every week.